It's live from the News Hub here in Accra. This is News 360 on TV3. I am Isa Moni.
And I'm Natalie Ford. To look at the top stories this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paint, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray,
Premier Health Insurance.
Members of Ghana Medical Association threaten to withdraw outpatient services at public health facilities from Monday, August 6th.
If by 18 hours GMT on August 5th, 2018, all the issues have not been completely resolved by government, then the following set of activities will kickstart.
Danger looms along the Biposo and Kasi Road in Busumfi district of the Ashanti region following reports of rocks falling off the cliff.
Also ahead this evening, Thanksgiving service held for the late former Vice President Kwesi Bekoe Amisa Arthur.
And on mission tonight, Bungo District Assembly provides sanitary facilities in a bid to end open defecation.
On the international front, former President Mugabe says he will not vote for his ZANU-PF successor, Emerson Mnangagwa, in a surprise press conference on the eve of Zimbabwe elections.
Right, we have all the details, including sports and entertainment, coming up this hour. Let's get to the flying start right now. And the Ghana Medical Association has threatened to withdraw outpatient services at public health facilities from Monday, August 6th, if government fails to honor outstanding payments due its members within 1 week. President of the association, Dr. Frank Ankobia, issued the threat at the 4th National Executive Council meeting at Jirapa in the Upper West region. Here's a report by Yakubu Abdul Gafur.
In a communique issued by the association at the end of its 60th anniversary celebrations, President of the association outlined a roadmap of its intended action. He said members in the public sector would withdraw all emergency services from August 20 if their demands were not met, and a withdrawal of all services by Monday, August 27 if the issues were unresolved by the time.
A 1 week window is hereby offered the Ministry of Health, and for that matter government, to resolve all these outstanding issues. If by 18 hours GMT on August 5th, 2018, all the issues have not been completely resolved by government, then the following set of activities will kickstart. Effective Monday, August 6th, 2018, all doctors working in the public sector shall withdraw outpatient services. This would continue till Sunday, 19th of August, 2018.
According to Dr. Ankobia, the association had earlier in November 2017 given government up to the end of April 2018 to honor its obligation towards its members following a compulsory arbitration by the National Labour Commission. He attributed outstanding debts owed by government towards members of the association to reduced pensions following the migration onto the single spine pay policy, with the unpaid conversion difference since December 2011.
The Ghana Medical Association bemoans the inequitable distribution of critical healthcare staff, which has resulted in most deprived communities in Ghana not receiving the desired standard of care.
The association further requested the National Health Insurance Authority to suspend all non-core expenditure on the Health Ministry and parliamentarians with immediate effect. It also urged government to ensure direct transfer of the National Health Insurance Levy to the NHIL account and not through the consolidated account.
In the light of the current financial challenges facing the National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA, and the GMA being mindful of the legal requirements of the NHIA to offer financial support to its partners like the Ministry of Health and Parliament, recommends that these non-core expenditures should be suspended.
Dr. Ankobia indicated the association would continue to give updates to its members and the general public on any development.
Meanwhile, some school feeding caterers contracted in 2016 have threatened to demonstrate at the Jubilee House over their unpaid arrears. The group, numbering 134, says government owes them 600,000 cedis.
The caterers at a press conference said the government has deliberately refused to pay their arrears for the first term of 2016 after making payments for the second and third terms within the year. The caterers say all efforts to get the finance ministry to pay their arrears have proven futile. Spokesperson of the group, Monica Telabi, said their bankers are demanding refunds of loans taken to pre-finance the feeding project.
We are appealing to the Ministry of Finance through the Gender Minister, Honorable Kodama, to consider our plight as women and pay our standing arrears because banks are chasing us every day for their money we collected to cook for the schools.
Madam Telabi called on government not to play politics with their livelihood.
Politics has nothing to do with this matter. We have worked closely towards the forward progress of Ghana, Mother Ghana, and have to be treated as Ghanaians and devoid of politics.
And now here's a threat to public life. Danger looms along the Biposo-Ankasi Road in the Busontwe district of the Ashanti region following reports of rocks falling off the cliff. Larger rocks have become unstable and could fall anytime. It's a report by Benjamin Edu.
The news team's visit to the area revealed a small part of the rock had fallen on the side of the road. Some communities along the lake Busontwe, including Biposo, Ankasi, Ajamam, Duase and Amakum, would be cut off should the worst happen. This bridge is also caving in and posing danger to road users. The recent rains have also caused havoc to the entire stretch. Health service delivery is adversely affected as motorbikes become the only means of transportation. A pregnant woman reportedly lost her unborn baby last week as a result of delayed transportation to the Amakum Health Center. The chief of Ankasi, Nana Kojo Edusei, appealed to government to come to their aid.
Traders are unable to bring their goods to Ankasi from either Konongo or Kumasi due to the poor state of the road. As a result, they often have to hire the young people in the area to carry the goods to the town.
The assembly member for Ankasi, Sharon Mensah, says it is time for people in the area to receive a fair share of infrastructural development.
We have a clinic here which is supposed to have been upgraded into a hospital, but because of the bad nature of the road, it has remained a clinic.
Other community leaders expressed disappointment in government and threatened to demonstrate if the road and falling rocks are not fixed.
It has taken a long time for this road to get to this state. We can't wait any longer.
MPP Regional Chairman of Busontwe,
the Ashanti Regional Minister, the MPP Ashanti Regional Chairman, and the MP for Busontwe all come from this area, yet this road is in a sorry state.
Road users have been cautioned to desist from plying the stretch until the Department of Feeder Roads steps in to avert any disaster.
And let's now go to the Tano North and South districts of the Bono Ahafo region, where more than 2,000 electricity poles remain locked up in remote farming communities in the Kwamisa Forest Reserve. Torrential rains have rendered major roads in the area unmotorable, creating anxiety among teak farmers whose harvested trees are going bad.
A visit to the area by our news team revealed the only access road to farmlands is a 30-kilometer narrow stretch which has been reduced to an impassable slurry. Vehicles had been stuck in the mud for days, and for others even weeks. Not even these four-wheel drives could maneuver their way through unaided. Residents bear the brunt of the deplorable roads in communities like Derma and Jatokrum. The West affected are teak farmers who cannot transport their harvest poles for the rural electrification project. Members were allocated 5,200 hectares of the degraded Kwamisa Forest Reserve to plant teak as part of government afforestation drive. They were also to plant food crops including plantain, maize and vegetables to support their finances. Members of the Forest Plantation Development Fund Management Board of the Forestry Commission on the fact-finding mission had to cut short their visit due to the poor road network.
We have all seen the road, very bad, terrible road, and just like we have cocoa roads, we also need to start thinking about investment into forest roads. So I think the board we have taken notice of that. We are going to sit down and think through and see what strategies we can come up with.
Member of Parliament's Select Committee on Lands and Natural Resources, Dr. Emmanuel Mafo, commended the private plantation developers and called for steps to address bureaucratic bottlenecks in the acquisition of permits from the Forestry Commission to attract more people into teak cultivation. President of PADO, George Asamoah Mankwa, outlined challenges facing members.
Even though we don't have good market for the product that we're planting here, but to harvest them also become a very challenge, because we had a program with the Forest Commission about 6 months ago, from January till to date, that we intend to harvest some of our products and then sell. Till to date, we are still struggling for permit and other necessary documents that can help us to take them for market.
A former Deputy Minister of Lands, Ejay Yeboah, appealed to government to stop the importation of electric poles and rely on local plantation developers.
What we have done, like the board has seen, is something. Maybe the health of the plantation isn't as they might want it. But then, if they were to have offered the technical advice and support that the contract between us and them indicated, I'm sure we might have actually got somewhere.
PADO has over 152 members made up of 110 males and 42 females. Each member cultivates an average of 100 hectares of degraded forest reserve granted by the Forestry Commission.
An obstetrics gynecologist at the Komfo Teaching Hospital in Kumasi says controlling population growth will demand intensified public education on the use of family planning methods. Dr. Ernest Kwakum, who is also a public interest advocate, is worried in spite of increased awareness of the various family planning methods, patronage remains low. It's a report by Beatrice Piogabra.
The World Vision Timing and Spacing of Pregnancy faith-based project is aimed at involving religious leaders in efforts to reduce maternal mortality, primarily in rural areas. The project further seeks to encourage family planning methods for youth in rural areas who tend to get pregnant early.
We are unable to meet the targets of family planning in Ghana. We have more women who do not have access to family planning. We need to really intensify the education on family planning. We need to intensify the involvement of male in family planning. And we also need to dispel the myths around family planning.
In Ghana, 30% of married women have an unmet need for family planning services, while 17% have an unmet need for spacing and 13% have an unmet need for limiting. Director of Family Health Division of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abwaje, says government is instituting measures to incorporate family planning into the National Health Insurance Scheme.
We are building capacity of community health nurses and auxiliary nurses to also offer services across the country in implant and long-term methods to improve access to family planning. There's also the plan to introduce health insurance as part of the benefit package for health insurance, and we are believing that that will improve access to family planning services, especially for those who feel that financial access may be a barrier.
Recent studies have recognized the unique and vital role of the church, mosque and faith-based groups in successful developmental work, especially in developing countries. National Director of World Vision, Dickens Thunde, stressed the influence of religious leaders will contribute to increased practice of family planning in communities.
These are people who have been with the communities and will continue to be with the communities, and they do understand and they have a lot of influence on what they decide to do. And so any development intervention has to factor the role of the faith leaders as change agents.
He further called on government to involve faith leaders in development initiatives. Meanwhile, the paramount chief of Bongo traditional area, Bon Naba Salifu Atamale Lemiarum, has kicked against the proposed population control policy that seeks to limit couples to giving birth to 3 children. The traditional ruler, who is also vice president of the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs, said the restriction has the potential to create problems for couples.
The National Population Council (NPC) is pushing for the enforcement of the policy that will allow couples to give birth to a maximum of 3 children as a resolute measure to control population growth. Ghana's annual growth rate currently stands at 2.5%, and according to the NPC, poses serious threat to national development, hence the need to reduce the number of children born in the country. The council is also proposing severe sanctions are imposed on couples who will exceed the maximum number of 3 children.
Somewhere along the line, there are categories of persons. People who give birth so many children and cannot take care of them. At least the people can opt to do that. But I don't think it should be an immediate issue, and it shouldn't be compulsory.
Agreeing at his case, he made reference to the northern part of Ghana, where he said polygamy is very high, for which reason it will be difficult for one to stick to the 3 children per couple.
Though it could be a laudable idea, but I think it will have a problem. The fact that this part of the country, the northern part, will exercise polygamy very high. And so assuming that somebody has about 4, 5, 6 wives, what happens? Besides that, we the traditional rulers, we need to have more children, especially boys.
Naba Salifu, who said he has been an advocate of most government policies, suggested the policy on population is not one he would be supporting, especially so when he intends to marry another woman.
And now, entrepreneurship has become a major buzz in the country due to the increasing spate of graduate unemployment. This development has forced some graduates to come up with innovative business ideas. We bring you the story of a 30-year-old graduate of the University of Cape Coast who is making a living from used car tires.
Worn-out tires constitute a chunk of waste generated. Most used tires end up being burnt and contribute to global emission of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. But tires can help reduce waste and protect the environment, especially when they are well managed. Certainly, this can create profitable business opportunities. After unsuccessfully searching for a job for close to 7 years, 30-year-old graduate of the University of Cape Coast, Ni Lantenate, is now turning used car tires into wealth.
I completed 2011, and from 2011 to 2018, you can imagine the gap. We started with an application, you're moving from house to house, company to company. Every corner in the territory of Accra, you have passed them. So realize that things are not working out.
The entrepreneur converts the tires into eco-friendly home furnishing items with a touch of class. In his backyard at Pampam in the Greater Accra region, Nilante and his brother, a trained teacher, and 5 supporting staff offer clients a new artistic and fascinating use for old ties.
I used to study at Kantanka place, so that is where I got a basic idea from. So there I began to do what I can do with the things that are in the environment that I've wasted. Started with car tie.
When business is good, he makes an average of 600 cedis a week. Papa Ni and his brother admit there are challenges, but that notwithstanding, they are upbeat about the prospects of the business.
Every day in and day out, we identify a new thing that the tie can do. Why we recently identified that the tie can make a very good sound.
Papa Ni Nate encourages unemployed graduates to come up with sustainable business ideas to transform their lives and help reduce graduate unemployment in the country.
Well, as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. Certainly lots of creativity at play there. Let's turn to education now. As President Akufo-Addo says, the free senior high school policy implemented by his administration in September last year has come to stay. According to President, free SHS is a significant tool for the rapid socio-economic development of the nation.
Speaking at the 70th anniversary celebration of the Ghana National College, President Akufo-Addo said with 90,000 more students entering senior high school than they did in 2017, the introduction of the free senior high school policy meant that there would be challenges of infrastructure that have to be attended to. President Akufo-Addo said in addressing challenges facing the system, government is providing the necessary facilities to enhance effective teaching and learning in schools.
We cannot, however, wait to address all the issues of infrastructure before we continue with the policy. Indeed, that was very much the rationale behind Prime Minister Kwame Nkrumah's celebrated Accelerated Development Plan of Education in the 1950s, which ensured a decisive opening up of the educational space for thousands and thousands of young Ghanaians. 472,000 new students, i.e. an increase of 31%, will be admitted into our senior high schools. We had to and have found a way, therefore, to absorb this intake.
He noted the introduction of a double intake system will help ensure all qualified students get a chance to have secondary education.
The objectives of the double track system are to create room to accommodate the increase in enrollment. Furthermore, it will reduce class sizes. It will increase the contact hours between teachers and students and increase the number of holidays.
And also in the news tonight, a Thanksgiving service has been held for the late Vice President Kwesi Bakwin Amissah-Arthur at the Calvary Methodist Church in Accra. It was a solemn occasion attended by family, friends, sympathizers, present and former government officials.
The church auditorium was full to capacity as family and friends of the late Vice President Kwesi Amissah-Arthur converged for a special memorial and Thanksgiving service. The sermon by the Methodist Bishop of the Accra Diocese, Right Reverend Samuel Kofi Osabute, was on the theme, Jesus the Provider, quoting John chapter 16 verses 1 to 15. He encouraged Ghanaians, particularly politicians, to emulate the life of the late Vice President.
All down the ladder, wherever he has worked, he saw himself as a service provider. That's what we emphasize today. Somebody who is meant to be in office, not to serve his personal needs. He thought more about the work and the people he had been called to serve throughout his public service. And this is something that we are calling upon all public servants to be able to do.
Children of the late Vice President donated back to the Methodist youth an undisclosed sum of money, given them as a welfare package from the church. The youth expressed their appreciation, recounting some of the contributions the late Vice President made towards their growth and development. They described him as a role model the church will find difficult replacing.
On one of his birthdays, His Excellency cancelled some of his planned celebrations in order to attend our biannual Easter praise and worship program. His residence served as a second venue for YMD meetings where his doors were open to us at any time.
Another Thanksgiving service would be held at the Wesley Methodist Church in Cape Coast on Sunday, August 12.
May his soul continue to rest in perfect peace. In some other news this evening, 2 beneficiaries of Think Heart Save a Child Social Support Initiative have undergone a successful whole-in-heart surgical operation at the Kolebu Cardiothoracic Center. David Garte from Winneba and James Tetefio from Accra are receiving treatments in the first quarter of the initiative, a collaboration between Media General's 3 Foundation and MTN Foundation.
Experts say 1 out of every 100 children born in Ghana might have gone through a whole-in-heart problem in one form or the other. Some may survive, but quite a number of them die before their 5th birthday. The whole-in-heart disease, which can sometimes occur naturally, can also be acquired through infections and certain negative lifestyle during pregnancies. However, there is a solution, but the problem is funds. The ordinary Ghanaian cannot afford the cost of whole-in-heart operation. It is against this background that Media General's 3 Foundation and MTN Foundation have collaborated to ease the burden that parents go through when their children happen to be in such conditions. 2-year-old David Garte from Winneba is the first beneficiary of Think Heart Save a Child and has undergone successful whole-in-heart treatment at the Kolebu Cardiothoracic Center. The anxious mother of David Garte recounted her mixed feelings before her son was taken to the theater for surgery. The director of Kolebu Cardiothoracic Center, Dr. Lawrence Rebo, gave assurance David Garte would regain his health in a few weeks.
Oh, this one is a small boy, he's doing well. We're going to keep him in the intensive care unit overnight and breathe for him, put him on the ventilator. By tomorrow morning, we expect that he will be weaned off the ventilator. When all the tubes around him are removed, he will be walking around, eating, and feeling a lot better than how he came here.
James is currently on admission at the center and will also have his surgery done in the next few days. Corporate Social Responsibility Manager for Media General, Akosia Ejay Suno, called on other organizations, philanthropists and the public to help support children suffering from whole-in-heart disease. This is the second quarter of Media General's 3 Foundation and MTN Foundation for 2 whole-in-heart beneficiaries. Donations can be made via MTN mobile money 024 52 70081 on all networks or via check to 3 Foundation. You can also make donations directly into the TV3 Social Support Fund with account number 6010603927 Zenith Bank.
You're on News 360. We'll return shortly with interesting stories on Mission.
Welcome back to News 360. Now time for our Mission segment. Mission is brought to you by Star Ghana with support from UK Aid, Danida and the European Union. And on a good note this evening, Mission continues to achieve results in the Bungo district of the Upper East region. In October last year, when the team first visited the area, open defecation was a challenge that the Assembly was battling with. By May, the Assembly was almost through with some sanitary facilities to end the menace. Here's a report by Bright Nana Amfo.
If you provide this KVIP to you, the people will stop open defecation. They'll stop rushing to the farmlands to do it.
This was a groundbreaking ceremony. A poor flush toilet was to be built for Zoko, one of the communities in the district. open defecation was common.
This old one, it is the estate where nobody wants to use it because it is not being taken care of, it is spoiled, and the place doesn't look nice at all.
Residents had no place of convenience and so did it anywhere. This was an old toilet facility. It was an eyesore. The health of the people was at risk. The assembly acted.
Executing this project. So within 3 months, we have a toilet facility in the Zoko market.
This was in January 2017. The assembly member for the Zoko electoral area was happy the project has come at the right time.
We are so grateful and we want to pledge that this facility, if put, we'll utilize it judiciously and we'll make sure that we also help in maintaining it as well.
The assembly did not stop there. Several other KVIPs and poor flush toilets were handed over to contractors. By May 2018, some of the facilities were at completion stages. At Bongo Soy Market, another poor flush toilet was awarded to a contractor and was at an advanced stage. Market women, community members and visitors who will come to the area will use the facility.
The Bongo district became 5th during the 2017 league table displayed by UNICEF, and we think that 5th is not an enviable position. We want to climb to the top, so we are doing everything possible, including a relaunch of an open defecation campaign we did some time ago, so that we involve the chiefs, the unit committee members, other opinion leaders, the market women, the youth groups, so that everybody would know that we want to end open defecation.
This is the old toilet. The new toilet facility is mechanized to ensure regular supply of water. The assembly says 6 more of these poor flush toilets will soon be opened to stop open defecation. Authorities of the Bongo district say health is key to speeding up development.
Certainly good news there. Let's now turn to education, as pupils of Kasingo Basic School in the Bongo district of the Upper East region are in a difficulty. Inadequate classrooms is impacting negatively on teaching and learning. Bright Nana Ampho reports the assembly is appealing to individuals and philanthropists to help put a structure up for the school.
The school is deprived. It has only 2 blocks for the primary. Junior high school 1 to 3 sits under trees. The privation is all over. Several children are disadvantaged. Results show average performance, but inadequate infrastructure is hampering efforts of teachers.
We have only 2 blocks, and these blocks were meant for only primary before the other GHS. And the GHS from 1 to 3, no classrooms. So we sit in the trees. So it's only from 3 they are inside because you see that they need help. So we put them inside the class so that we can help them, encourage them to go and write the BEC.
Kasingo is a farming community and incomes are low. This is what they have put up to be used by the junior high school. It started 4 years ago. This is what their incomes can provide. The assembly and the education directorate are aware of the poor situation of the school.
Most of the time you see animals around who will just be fighting and be making noise, disturbing the class. The members also in the community will be riding motorbikes around and be a little distraction. It will just, distract the whole class and then attention will not be there.
The Kasingo Basic School has enough teachers, but classrooms are inadequate. Though ready to give off their best, teachers are challenged.
We don't seem to get any answers to what we complain about. But sometimes the community members would want to help. We have been complaining most of the time, and then we don't get any better response to our complaints.
In fact, junior high school 2 pupils had demonstrated over inadequate classrooms just before the last basic education certificate examination.
I was teaching mathematics, and I don't know, some boys were making noise at the back, so I tried to find out why they were making noise, and they were complaining of the weather. So I said, oh, but this has been our situation, so they should just, no, they cannot continue. They've even heard the Form 3s will be moving to Bongo to write their final exam, so I should stop teaching. They will not learn again. They are going to the headmaster.
The assembly says it is unable to raise funds immediately to put up structures.
I'm sure you would have seen some schools that still sit under trees. Consumer is one. We are working assiduously to see how we can channel our resources into education. The money isn't there, and we don't know when the money will come. So what we ought to do is to work within our local resources. That is why we need to improve upon our IGF. We need to task the people. We need to call on our citizens, those Bongo people who are outside, to come to our aid.
The Bongo district is also striving at getting furniture to fix the over 6,000 deficit schools in the district are faced with. The assembly is appealing for support to improve education.
Just moving like this, it doesn't come down. Very good. That is a very good suggestion.
And that's how we wrap up our Mission segment this evening. Mission is brought to you by Star Ghana with support from UK Aid, Danida and the European Union.
You're on News 360, and a special educational needs and disability coordinator, Hannah Akom-Mensah, has called on stakeholders to collaborate to find a technological solution to support persons with autism. Research on autism has revealed that digital technology could improve the lives of persons with the spectrum disorder. We'll bring you this one later, but let's do a special report on autism. Studies have revealed that the elimination of protein in wheat and milk foods improves the lives of persons living with autism up to 90%. TV3 News has been finding out from some parents of children living with autism and experts on how true this is. Harriet Mensah has more.
The autism spectrum disorder is a range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. Although health experts say there is no cure for persons diagnosed, some schools of thought are challenging this. Studies say gluten-free, casein-free approach is the solution to perhaps a cure of the disorder. Gluten is a protein found in wheat-like products like bread, cereal, cracker, packaged foods, and pasta products. Casein is another type of protein common in milk products. But how true is this theory in improving the lives of persons living with autism? 10-year-old Antoine, according to his parents, was diagnosed with the highest functioning end of the autism spectrum at the age of 4. His father, a researcher at medical institution, explained how the gluten-free, casein-free approach has helped in improving the condition of his son.
He was uncontrollable at place to school. It was very difficult because his behavior, his tantrums was very, very difficult to deal with. You go to the city with him and he's all over the ground and screaming and shouting and, you know, wanted his own things. No contact with anybody. He didn't want to speak to anybody. He wasn't talking. He just only, anything he wanted, just pointing. We're using things like coconut oil and a whole 9-yard shots of natural medicine, you know, herbs, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids. So well, like the first step was detoxing, chelation, taking heavy metals out. When he started taking those things, it was actually tough. He goes to kindergarten and he vomits, and you see really yellow stuff, and the kindergarten, they used to call sometimes and say, hey, you know, what's wrong with your son? The body was detoxifying, so he was vomiting.
He is convinced that Antoine is 85 to 90% healed of autism.
Everybody needs to expand their horizon. Because even things like, you could even, a very powerful stuff you can also do is like getting good bones, you know, maybe like grass-fed beef or goat or sheep or anything. You get at the bones, and then you boil it the whole day, put in some garlic, some ginger, some pepper, and some rosemary herb, and some thyme, sage, all that stuff. You boil it for a whole day. And all the minerals are in this preparation, you know, you call it bone broth. I want to advise every parent here, if you have an autistic child, you know, no matter what, you know, it's doable. You know, look at my son. You know, right now, even if I'm talking about autism or all that thing that he was sick before, everybody could even see that he was even saying no, no, no. He doesn't want to accept it because, you know, he's getting out of it.
Antoine, who is currently speaking, says he has no desires to do certain things anymore.
I like eating plantain with butter.
And what else?
And my favorite fruits. I was not eating kiwi before. Kiwi is a fruit. And long time I was eating pomegranate.
Pomegranate.
Yeah. And I like drinking coconut water.
33-year-old Gloria is also mother to an autism child. She also shares a testimony on how resorting to the GFCF dieting has improved upon the health of her 11-year-old son, Boatin, in just 3 months.
From birth to 10 years, it has not been easy because at that time I didn't know that there are even some diets that they shouldn't even touch. So he was hyper. The thing was just getting worse. It was like there's no hope. So I decided to just embrace it and just manage it. A medical doctor who told me, no, before these children can come out from this condition, first thing you have to tackle the diet. If you don't do that, you lie bad. There is nothing. You'll be giving them maybe some supplement that will help them, vitamins and those, but without the diet, it won't work. I'm doing this to cure him, to heal him from this condition called autism. It's a way of curing him from autism.
Gloria tells us how she resorted to prayers until she met Steve Konu, who introduced her to the diet.
Everything that he takes, I make sure that it's organic. He doesn't eat processed food. Like the lunch, I can give him boiled cocoyam, boiled plantain, and mashed terryberry, the one that they call abedru, with Spanish contombre, onion, and those local spices. Yes. And he takes only fish, no meat too.
Aside the diet, she also revealed she gets rid of heavy metals like aluminium, lead, and mercury by means of enema. According to the World Health Organization, an epidemiological studies conducted over the past 50 years has proven that the prevalence rate of autism spectrum disorder appears to be increasing globally.
Oh, certainly some interesting findings there. You're still live here on News 360. We've got the latest of news from the world of sports coming up with Thierry Nan shortly. Stay with us. Thanks, Thierry, for the sports news there. Now, on the international front this evening, former Zimbabwean leader, Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe, has in a media briefing ahead of the landmark election in the country. He said that he would not, in fact, vote for his successor, describing him as a traitor.
With less than 24 hours to crucial elections in Zimbabwe, the deposed President Robert Mugabe has called a press conference at his private residence in the capital, Harare. It comes in the wake of reports that the former leader was working with the main opposition candidate, Nelson Chamisa. Mugabe says he is equally worried about the disappearance of an activist, Itai Jamara, during his regime. He spoke about the painful reality of having to go to the vote for the first time without his name on the ballot paper. He said he can't vote a party or those in power who are the people that have brought him to the state.
I also did not know that as he worked with me, he was eyeing my position until quite late. I was a fool to have him next to me. Now I can't vote for ZANU-PF.
He dispelled rumors that he is backing the main opposition candidate, but says he wishes to meet him if Chamisa wins.
It's the MDC, Mamduru, Coupe, and 22 others. I have said the two women don't seem to offer very much. So what is there? I think it's just Chamisa.
Now, a powerful earthquake has struck a popular tourist destination in Indonesia, killing at least 14 people. The 6.4 magnitude quake hit the central island of Lombok just before 07 hours GMT.
The island attracts tourists from around the world due to its beaches and hiking trails, and is located about 40 kilometers east of Bali. Hundreds of people are injured and thousands of homes are damaged, officials say. A Malaysian tourist who was on a hiking trip to Mount Rinjani is among those killed. The U.S. Geological Survey said the epicenter of the earthquake was 50 kilometers northeast of the city of Mataram in northern Lombok. It was followed by more than 60 smaller earthquakes, with the largest recorded at a magnitude of 5.7.
You can get some more international news on our website, it's3news.com. Up next is entertainment news. And entertainment this evening, there was a massive turnout at this year's tidal rave slated for the long vacation season. It has now become Ghana's biggest beach event.
Tidal Rave has over the years offered not only fun, but an experience one would always want to remember. The July event started with a road trip from the Accra Mall through to the Jam Stop at West Hills to the Beach House. There were performances from Ghana's dynamic duo, R2Bs, Medical, King Promise, T-Flow, and among others. Fans were thrilled.
During last year to this year, which one are you feeling this? I'm feeling this one. You're feeling this? So which artists are you looking forward to? Lamem Gan, R2Bs, T-Flow. This is the first time you coming? Yeah, this is my first time coming and it's really, really massive. So what message are you giving out to people out there that they wait up? Tell everybody for come, Charlie. It'll be bad every time we for come. Every time you hear Tidal Rave, bro, you need to be here.
The artists also gave their impression about the event after their performance.
Very nice. Like the crowd, then they respond good. Like it be mad. Don't feel that.
You know, when I got here, I stood there for a while, so I got tired. You know, my energy, everything came down, it went down. But then when I got on stage, the crowd, man, it was lovely. So you know, they gingered me, and I kind of like did my thing. You know, sat sick, you know.
How is your feeling right here, being part of the Tidal? Is your first time being here?
Yes, this is my first time. This is my first time actually attending, and I'm performing, so it's great. Everybody should aim high because you'll get there.
Fast forward, you worry. Put the gear, we marry. Them my boys, we test the curry. Big shots to our manager, go make big to bank.
Looks like a draw
looks
for...
like fun.
Yeah, you know, for party goers. That's it for this edition of News 360. I'm Isa Moni.
And I'm Natalie Ford. There's more news on our website. It's 3news.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have an incredible evening.